What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to have a chat about Rogue in Marvel Champions. I do apologise, this is slightly later than I would generally like to get to it. Unfortunately, this was revealed right as Pokemon Scarlet and Violet dropped, and I'm afraid for a few days I was a little bit busy with Scarlet and Violet. But I'm back now, and I want to talk about Rogue, because Rogue looks awesome. So we start off with your alter ego mode. We've got Anna Marie, recovery of 3, and as a setup, you set your touched upgrade aside, ready to use in a minute. And you've got withdrawn a forced response. After you change to this form, you set your touched upgrade aside. Okay, hand size of 6, hit points of 11, so higher than, moderately decently high HP. But we then go into Rogue. We got 2/2/2 thwart attack defense, all fairly standard. Hand size goes down to 5, as we would expect. But we've got skin contact, which is an action that allows you to attach your touched upgrade to another character. Any character, hero, villain, minion, whatever. And you gain each of the attached character's traits, like X-Men or whatever, until the end of the round. And there is a forced response after the player phase begins. You find touched and set it aside. So you can attach touched as an action, but it gets set aside during setup, and when you change to alter ego, and when the player phase begins. What is touched? It is the perfect upgrade if you are designing a Rogue hero pack. Because you attach it to a character, and then if it's a minion, you gain overkill. A villain, you gain retaliate 1. An ally, you gain aerial, or a hero, you gain stalwart. Overkill, remember, is where you defeat a minion and the extra damage goes on to the villain. Stalwart is where you have to be confused or stunned twice in order to actually be confused or stunned. So basically, what you've got is this upgrade that keeps coming back to you, and you can flick it around to different places every turn, and you can gain traits, and you can gain extra skills by doing so, and it really allows you to tailor your playstyle depending on who you're playing against and where you want to put this upgrade. But remember that Rogue takes the powers of any mutant she touches, so this is actually perfect. This is wonderful. This is exactly how Rogue should play. And then we got a bunch of other cards, ladies and gentlemen. We got a bunch of other cards that we can use here to take advantage of this. So we've got Going Rogue, a 2-cost event. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. But if you've got Aerial, you remove 2 more. Retaliate, you confuse an enemy. And Stalwart, you draw a card. Bearing in mind, you can give those skills to yourself depending on where you put your touched upgrade. Southern Cross is a 3-cost event. Deals 6 damage to an enemy, but if you got Aerial, you deal 2 more damage. Retaliate, you stun, and Stalwart, you draw a card. Yeah, this works. We've then got Bulletproof Bell, a 1-cost event, hero interrupt defense. When an enemy with touched attached to it attacks, prevent all damage from that attack and gain a tough status card. So you can basically, when you've got Bulletproof Bell in your hand, you can put touched onto the villain, and then when the villain attacks you, you take no damage, but you get a tough status card, so then next turn you don't take any as well. Or you put it on a minion, you protect yourself from the minion and get a tough status card ready for the villain's attack, as an example. And I love this. Basically, this entire deck is saying you can put this touch upgrade wherever you want, and you can plan around being able to be touching the different characters to give yourself different skills and different powers, and that's exactly how Rogue would do it. I love how the card designers keep coming back and making the characters play like the characters should, given their power set, and I just think this is absolutely amazing. We got Superhero Adaptation, a 0-cost event. If touch is attached to a friendly character, search its owner's discard pile for an event that belongs to the same classification as that character, identity specific, aspect, or basic, and add that event to your hand. So you can even be nicking your partner's cards to be using, which is amazing. And then we got Energy Transfer, a 2-cost event. Attach touch to a character other than Rogue and deal 2 damage to that character. Heal 2 damage from Rogue and ready her. and you gain each of the attacked character's traits until the end of the round. Yeah, it's wonderful. Again, this is just exactly what you should be doing. We know that Rogue can basically suck life force and heal herself up and all of that, and that's what we're doing here. I just love it. I adore the way that the card designers have gone and approached Rogue in Marvel Champions, and I think it's absolutely stunning. So who should Rogue's signature ally be? Clearly it should be Gambit, and it is. And we've only just seen the Gambit hero pack, so I'm absolutely loving this. And of course, let's not forget that in the Gambit hero pack, who was the signature ally? It was Rogue. Obviously, it was Rogue. So what we got with Gambit here is free cost, free health, 2 thwart or attack, taking 1 damage each. Love being able to do 2 thwart or attack. And Gambit enters play with 3 charge counters on him. And when Gambit attacks, you remove a charge counter and deal a damage to an enemy. But crucially, it doesn't have to be the enemy you're currently attacking. This is way better than just adding one to your attack. Love it, ladies and gentlemen. This seems like a very cool ally. Now, Rogue comes out as a protection character, so there are some protection cards we can have a look at. We've got Iceman, free cost, free health, 1 thwart, don't like it. 2 attack, like it, taking 1 damage each. But Iceman enters play with 3 freeze counters on him, and after a minion enters play, you remove a freeze counter and stun that minion. Yeah, it's a free cost ally that stuns 3 minions, or the next 3 minions. I mean, come on. That is awesome. It is a response, not a forced response. That is very important. Judoka's skill is a 2-cost upgrade with 3 judo counters, max 1 per player. And when you defend against an enemy attack, you remove a judo counter, and the enemy gets -2 for that attack. It's a protection deck. It's stopping you taking damage. This is what should be happening. Not Today is a 1-cost event, Hero Interrupt. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +2 defense. And then if you take no damage, you also remove 2 threat from a scheme. Classic protection. And we've then got a couple of more mutant-y cards. You've got Moira McTaggart, a 2-cost support that can only be played if your identity has the mutant trait. Very fitting if you know the comics. And it's got a response after a mutant alter ego changes into hero form, exhaust Moira, and draw a card. Yeah, it's like a full-on draw engine. We don't have enough of that in the game. That is awesome. And then we got the 1-cost upgrade X-Gene that can only be played if your identity has a mutant trait, max 1 per player. And it's a resource. You exhaust X-Gene and generate an any-type resource for an identity-specific event. I.e. a rogue event, for instance. Yeah, sounds good to me, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds good to me. But we do also have an encounter module, as we would generally expect, and what we've got here is the Reavers, a team of cybernetically enhanced criminals and enemies of the X-Men. So we've got Donald Pierce, 1 scheme, 1 attack, 6 health, and it's got Villainous. That's where you get a boost card even though you're a minion, not a villain. And Force Response, after Donald Pierce engages you, reveal the topmost Reaver minion from the discard pile. So that's going to get annoying. Skullbuster, 2 scheme, 2 attack, 5 health with toughness. You got the tough counter on there. And a Force Response, after Skullbuster engages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme for each Reaver minion engaged with you. Oh look, they're working as a team. Who'da funk it? We got Bonebreaker, 1 scheme, 3 attack, 5 health, again with toughness. And we got Forced Interrupt. After Bonebreaker engages you, take 1 indirect damage for each Reaver minion engaged with you. Yes, this is going to get annoying. And then Wade Cole, 1 scheme, 2 attack, 3 health. When revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for a copy of the Cybernetic Enhancement attachment and attach it to Wade Cole. And this gives you +1 attack and says that the minion cannot take damage, but after the minion attacks, you discard cybernetic enhancements. So you get 1 attack with +1 attack, but until you do that, you are invulnerable, or they are invulnerable, and that's kind of annoying. Oh yeah, and they've all got the teamwork keyword, which means all the Reavers in play activate. This was a new keyword skill that came around in Mutant Genesis. After a minion with teamwork comes in and engages you, if there is at least one of a minion that shares the trait, then they all activate, which can get very, very annoying. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Rogue, and I'm all over this, honestly. I think this is amazing. I love that it is all built around the fact that she can touch and take all of your powers and all of that. It's just brilliant, and I absolutely love it. I think this is another wonderfully designed set, and I, for one, am very excited to try it out. But I want to know what you think. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Marvel Champions and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all kinds of fun things. But by far, the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.